Shalom family. So again, we have this amazing article put together by our beloved brother in the Lord, T.W.Tramm. And he is really such a treasure trove of encouragement and upliftment and just joy in the things that he presents. And he really researches and does his work well and puts in the time. So I'd encourage you to go and check him out. I'm going to put a snapshot of his website on this video as well at the end. It's called the Season of Return Ministries. When you arrive at that website, you'll see usually his top 3 articles on the landing page that you can click on. That'll take you directly there. And then underneath he has additional resources, which is news sites and ministries and YouTube channels and things that he endorses that you can go and check out and look at that are all speaking to the times we're living in. And then on the top, it says articles. And if you click on articles, it'll take you to all the articles, even the ones you've missed in the years before. And there's a lot of good meat in there to go dig through. And then books that he's written and so forth, and the opportunity to donate and support his ministry. Again, amazing human being here and a part of our family that we will soon meet in the air shortly. Now, the reason I touch on him every now and then is because I understand what it's like for a lot of people, especially older people that don't have Facebook. I don't use Facebook anymore. So if you don't have Facebook, you tend to miss when these things release, because TW likes to release these things on Facebook and show the latest articles. So if you are on Facebook, you can look him up and you'll be on the front of exactly when he releases these things, because he's quite good at letting you know it's out. But if you're not on Facebook, and it's one that I think is really worth covering, then I'll actually print it out like I've done today and read through it with you. So it's not me teaching you, it's me reading the encouragement from T.W.Tramm for you on his latest findings. And this one is exciting. So grab your coffee, sit down and bear with me. Let's get excited together. It's entitled, Jubilee. Is 2025 the year of the Lord's favor? T.W.Tramm, 20 March 2025. The Bible teaches we are all prisoners. Repressive governments, employers, debt, discrimination, disability, disease, and the ultimate oppressor, the fear of death, are among the things that shackle mankind. There is good news. A deliverer has come to set us free. On a Sabbath morning 2,000 years ago, Jesus stood up at the synagogue and read from the book of Isaiah. The Spirit of the Lord is on me because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. Luke 4 verse 18 and 19. Jesus was declaring his role as the Redeemer who will grant freedom at the year of the Lord's favor. Ephesians 1, 13 and 14. Now, the Jubilee. In Leviticus, God instructs the Israelites to proclaim a special year of liberty. When you enter the land I am going to give you, count off 7 Sabbath years, so that the 7 Sabbath years amount to a period of 49 years. Then have the trumpet sounded. Consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land for its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you. Leviticus 25 verse 8 to 11. You can read it in more detail. The call to freedom after 49 years is rooted in a biblical statute called the law of redemption. According to this law, if a person or piece of property has been sold to cover a debt, a near relative or a kinsman may redeem them by buying them back. If a person who is sold into bondage has no kinsman to buy him back, however, the law requires that he be released regardless at the year of redemption or jubilee. Leviticus 25, 15 to 55. All of these are pictures and snapshots of what Jesus is doing in redeeming mankind. Prophetically, the Jubilee illustrates God's plan to liberate mankind from the slavery of mortal existence brought about by Adam's sin. When the first man sinned, he and all his descendants were sold into bondage. Since no sinful man can pay the cost of what Adam sold, the role of humanity's kinsman redeemer belongs solely to our blood relative, Jesus Christ, who came in the flesh assumed our debt, and paid it with his life. And so, God's plan to permanently unshackle mankind is spelled out in the law of redemption as it pertains to the Jubilee. The Jubilee, or year of release, foreshadows the liberation from death at the resurrection rapture. Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep. We will all be changed. In a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. For the perishable must clothe itself with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality. Then the saying that is written will come true. Death has been swallowed up in victory. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 51 to 54. That the rapture of the church coincides with the Jubilee, or year of redemption, is implied throughout the New Testament. Paul speaks of the liberty and bodily redemption of the church at Jesus' coming. Romans 8, verse 19 to 23. Jesus tells his followers that when they see the signs of his coming, to look up, because their redemption is near. Luke 21:28. Christians are sealed by the Holy Spirit unto the day of redemption. Ephesians 4, verse 30. Now he goes into calculations, which are really always fun and exciting. With the prophetic significance of the Jubilee in view, the question becomes, when is the next Jubilee? And you can actually look on YouTube and other channels, and you'll find that everybody's got different opinions, and they're all digging and doing the maths and trying to figure out from different ancient documents, when is the actual new Jubilee, or is this the next Jubilee? Since no historical document exists to confirm any past Jubilee, no one knows for certain. However, since God instructed the Israelites to start counting Jubilees upon entering the promised land, Leviticus 25 verse 2, an event that most chronologists date at 1406 BC, it is calculated that 2025 is a Jubilee. 1406 BC plus 70 Jubilee periods, 3,430 years, equals 2025. These are the days of Elijah. Bolstering the 2025 Jubilee reckoning are a number of other calculations and concurrences. 2025 marks one Jubilee period, 7 weeks, since a master plan to build Jerusalem was published in 1970, Daniel 9:25. 2025 marks 10 Jubilee periods, 70 weeks, since an order to rebuild Jerusalem's wall by King Suleiman in AD 1535, Daniel 9:25. 2025 is a Jubilee per the Catholic reckoning. Now, this is shocking that they're lining up for once. This is significant because due to the way the popes count Jubilees, every 50th or 25th year since AD 1300, there has never been a concurrent biblical Catholic Jubilee until now, which is a Jubilee per both reckonings. 2025 Jubilee synchronizes with Ezekiel's Jubilee in 573 BC, when the prophet saw a vision of the ultimate temple in the 25th year, Ezekiel 40. What's more, like the 2025 Jubilee, Ezekiel's Jubilee is a 70th Jubilee, as counted from creation, 4004 to 4003 BC, plus 70 Jubilee periods takes you to 573 BC. A 2025 Jubilee synchronizes with Josiah's Jubilee in 622 BC, when the 25-year-old king initiated major religious reforms after discovering the Book of the Law, 2 Kings 22 and 23. 2025 saw Donald Trump become president of a nation comprised of 50 states, and which is founded on the Jubilee principle of liberty, evoking the Jubilee command. Sound the trumpet, then consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty, Leviticus 25. Coincidentally, the words America and Donald both have a gematria value of 50, the number of Jubilee. Nisan 2025, coming up very shortly, marks the year anniversary of the American solar eclipse, which had a distinct Jubilee theme, besides completing a giant X across the Jubilee nation. The eclipse occurred on the constellation band that binds the fish of Pisces, denoting a release from bondage as in the Jubilee. More on this on his website. Additionally, since God is known to speak through even chapter and verse numbers, it is noteworthy to see Leviticus 25 details the redemption and Jubilee statutes. Jeremiah 25 states the Jews will be redeemed after 70 years. 2025 marks Israel's 70th Jubilee. Verse 25 of Daniel's week's prophecy contains the only mention of a Jubilee period in Scripture. Matthew 25 contains the parable about the bridegroom coming at midnight. Verse 25 of Acts 16 recounts Paul's midnight release from jail. When a supernatural earthquake shook the foundations of the prison, all the doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose, a picture of a Jubilee rapture. Genesis 25:20, 2025 reversed, states that Isaac, a type of Christ, married Rebekah, a type of the church, when he was 40 years old. The striking parallel is that 2025 marks the 40th Jubilee since Jesus' wedding promise to the church in Acts 2. What's more, some chronologies date the wedding of Isaac and Rebekah to 2025 BC. Finally, with the Gregorian year 2025 in view, it is significant that in biblical numerology, the number 20 denotes a period of waiting and expectancy, as we have been doing, and the number 25, 5 times 5, signifies grace upon grace, making 2025 a fitting year for the church's waiting period or age of grace to end. Summary and conclusion. The Jubilee statutes of Leviticus illustrate God's plan to redeem mankind. At the final Jubilee, Jesus' followers will be liberated from every type of bondage, including death, tears wiped from our eyes. While only God knows when the final Jubilee is, a concurrence of timelines suggests it could be 2025. Counting from 1406 BC, the current year marks precisely the 70th Jubilee, one Jubilee since the publishing of a master plan to rebuild Jerusalem, 10 Jubilees since an order to rebuild Jerusalem's walls, the only concurrent biblical Catholic Jubilee, 53 Jubilees since Ezekiel's Jubilee, 54 Jubilees since Josiah's Jubilee, so you can work out the Jubilees. And additionally, 2025 marks the beginning of Trump's last term as leader of the Jubilee nation. Nisan 2025 marks the year anniversary of America's Jubilee-themed eclipse. Chapters and verses number 25 pointing to the Jubilee, which we covered. The numbers 20 and 25 signifying a period of waiting and grace. Could 2025 be the year of the Lord's favor? For those longing for the ultimate freedom, it is a thrilling possibility to consider. Exciting, right? Encouraging, right? Filling you with hope and inspiration for the imminence of the return of Jesus Christ that is literally at the door any moment that we'll hear that trumpet call. Hence why I'm telling you, check out our beloved brother J.C.O.M.E.S, his website, his articles. It'll really just make you think and dig deeper and get excited about the fact that we're living here on the edge of eternity. So thank you, Tracy, once again for the hard work you've put in. And I hope all of you that don't have Facebook and access to this were blessed by these details. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.